Not that song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
You wanted a shorter and a sweeter Mike's Daily Podcast? Well, you got one. This is going to be a really short and sweet one, partly because I had a lot of extra things I had to take care of at work today. The Tuesday, it's episode 1676, and I got some frickin' sleep last night. Oh, it is so great. I told you to go get some sleep. I hope you did.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I certainly did. I feel a lot better. Hey, I was going to talk to you about something that I saw.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Over the weekend, and it's something in my notes here. Where is it? Oh, here. When you really think about Coco, it's clear, the movie Coco, that there's this land of the dead, and they all look really cute, but they're still like skeletons talking to you. What a great idea for a kids film.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hey kids, let's go see a movie about a bunch of dead people, skeletons, that are
Mike's
getting you into
Daily
all kinds of hijinks.
Podcast.
Why am I talking about a movie that's 80 years old?
Yeah!
I don't know. Something I wrote down. But it does freak me out. I was thinking about it later, and it freaked me out. Prime Day was 36 hours instead of 24 hours, thus not a day. What the hey? And people saw a dog most of the time because they were having a downward dog day. I guess when things go wrong, look who just walked in, they show a dog instead of that 5080. What's that number that I always see all the time when there's an error? I don't know. I'm not a computer guy. I'm a mic guy. I'm a saying hi to this person guy. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, the job supervisor. I heard there was big stuff that happened yesterday in Oakland. Oh, yes. We'll get to that now. Oh, but first, Floyd the Floorman. Hi, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. I can't wait to see what the podcast picture is. Mm-hmm. Actually, for the podcast picture, we're going to go back in time about 5 years ago. And it's a great picture with my wonderful dog, Basil the Boxer. And it is a picture where we went to Shadow Cliffs. Shadow Cliffs.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Pleasanton, Shadow Cliffs. Have you been there? It's a lovely place with a bunch of, well, I guess they dug down into the ground and they filled up with water. Mm-hmm. Ta-da, water. And on a really hot day, it will cool you off to go and stick your feet in the water. Technically, I don't think he was allowed in the lake, but there was no one around. And if you come at me with a mic, you shouldn't have, then you've got a lot of time on your hands. But the thing is, in Oakland yesterday, my lovely lady friend was coming back from her job out there, and she was like on Broadway in Oakland, downtown Oakland, and there was a bunch of riots going on, partly to do with, sadly, a young lady was killed on BART over the weekend, was stabbed, and she was black. Apparently, the assailant, the person that killed her was white, so for some reason there was a riot from that, even though the guy was allegedly homeless and probably crazy, mentally not there, and disconnected from reality. So he did that, and for some reason that sparked a riot where people, as my lovely lady friend was saying, she heard people saying not such nice things about the police. And Oakland. There you go. Oakland, and then just to the north of Oakland is Berkeley. So we've got two cities that get the riots. San Francisco, yeah, that too. But, primarily Berkeley and Oakland. So come on and move out here. Everybody's leaving, by the way. It's a mass exodus going on. People getting the heck out of the Bay Area. It's getting way too expensive. I would say the traffic is bad, but the traffic's always been bad. So I don't know if that's a complaint. But it's expensive in California. There's taxes on taxes, and you get taxed after the tax. And after the fact, there's an after the fact tax. I don't know exactly what that is, but... And then I was also talking to my lovely lady friend about creativity. You know, we were both pretty creative kids where we discussed things. I did puppet shows, because you need a puppet show. This podcast is a puppet show. I don't know if you can't see it, but I have puppets on my hands right now. Look at that. Hey, you take that. Go! And you take that. It's a Punch and Judy show. They're punching each other, Punch and Judy. That's a British reference. British people call it Punch and Judy. And you take that. Love those. So much fun. Oh, I guess I need to behave, but...
Oh, behave. Yeah.
So, I would just like to wrap up, because we're not going to be able to talk to... Oh! McDonald's salads. People getting sick off of McDonald's salads. My big question is...
What is the matter with you?
You don't go to McDonald's for salads. That's not the thing for McDonald's. You don't... Oh my God. Why are you going there for salad? You get the disgusting burgers they have there. That's it. You don't eat the salads.
Something must be wrong with you.
Anyway, and then now milk, no more soy milk, no more almond milk. Milk is going to be redefined according to the FDA that it actually comes from, it is a lactate secretion, I believe is how they worded it. A bovine lactate secretion. Oh, hey! That's a great name for a band. Yo, we're the bovine lactate secretions! We're here to rock! Yesterday, I was listening to a podcast out of Minnesota, and they were discussing the whole Trump. They had political junkie Ken Rudin on, and they got this call from this girl. And let's listen to
Question
this.
for him, 651-227-6000.
Don't call that number. Call 336-MM-DAILY. That's my number, 336-MM-DAILY.
Question at Carrie NPR to Maria.
You can. My Twitter is Mike Talks.
Question for Ken.
Hi, Carrie and Ken. I was just going to say, as somebody that came here very young as an immigrant from the former Soviet Union, we have a little bit of a different perspective. I know that the couple of people that I've talked to, family members who've grown up here, who are very much integrated into society, who view ourselves as Americans first, feel scapegoated and somewhat, it's kind of bordering on, obviously not as intense, but kind of the whole Japanese fear during World War II. Everyone's a spy.
No. Wrong. That is not the right response.
Wrong.
I could not believe this call. I heard this on the podcast as I listened to so many podcasts. But good podcasts. I don't waste my time with stupid crap like this show. And I heard that and I went, wait a minute. Okay, Russians, they're white looking, right? So immediately you can't compare yourself to the minority. But still, look, I'm part German, okay? The Germans, not necessarily me, because I was not in Germany at the time this was going on. I wasn't born yet. I'm an American. But I have German blood, and thus that means, and you can trace any of your blood. There's been no innocent country, but we certainly know what the Germans did, and it's bad. And that's something that if people go, hey, Mike, the Germans sure sucked in the 30s and 40s, I would have said, yeah, they sure did. They did some awful, terrible things. And right now, Russia's doing some awful, terrible things. So for this girl to go, oh my God, I feel so insulted right now because they're talking so badly about Russians right now. Yeah, the Russians are doing terrible things. We're going to talk bad about them. Too bad for you. You're Russian, but that's the thing you deal with. When America welcomes people from all over, and unfortunately from some a-hole states, from a-hole countries.
And don't talk to this person.
And I don't mean the S-hole countries, which Trump was referring to.
And you're alienating an entire population of people that have been so integral to the American society for the past 30, 40 years. And while I'm not really a fan of either leader, being a millennial, I feel like this has all just become completely blown out of proportion. And we have so much more domestic, much more domestic issues to discuss that should hold precedence over all of this. You can't escape from it. You can't turn off your TV. You can't turn off your phone. And now it feels like, as I consider myself, pretty much American.
A millennial.
I feel,
right? God.
Maybe not with intention.
No, Miriam.
Oh, then they went on and, oh my God, Marianne's absolutely right. Because, they feel bad. They feel insulted. Good heavens. You cannot. Is this the false equivalent? That's what that is. All right, so I don't really have any other things to talk about. What's this doomsday? Russia shows off a nuclear doomsday torpedo. So that's why we shouldn't be... Russia's an issue right now, so I'm sorry, you've got to frickin' deal with it. Your ancestry, unfortunately, links to a country that is not something... You understand what I'm trying to say. We should not at all be saying what this guy said here.
I say it's better to get along with Russia than not.
And the other.
President Putin was extremely strong and powerful.
Yeah. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. A super short show today. And that's because I had to deal with some issues keeping another radio station on the air and all that kind of thing. But I'd love to hear from you. Go to MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. You can email me, MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com, what your thoughts are. Maybe you want to clarify what Mary Ellen or whatever her name was saying. And then maybe you can also tweet at me at Mike Talks. I'm on Facebook, like the Facebook page. Mike's Daily Podcast is I think it's just facebook.com/Mike's Daily Podcast. You can find it that way. And you can also write to me on that, and I'll get back to you. Will you address your comments on the section emails for me-mail and your calm and not so comments. So check it all out at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com, and the wonderful picture of Basil the Boxer out there on the shores of the Shadow Cliffs in Pleasanton. Yes. Oh, there's a whole thing I'd like to get into about how many people yesterday said to me as I was walking around Lake Chabot, "Oh, how old's your dog? How old's your dog? Oh, how old's your dog?" Shut up. Is that what you say, like when you're walking with your grandma down the street? "Oh, how old is your grandma? How old is she? Oh, is she going to go to that Cocoa Land?" Ugh. Next show, eventually we all go to the Cocoa Land, but that's neither here nor there anywhere. I better go. Next show is going to be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Thank you for listening.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!